Hello, Virgo. How are you? And Happy New Year once again from Swa Says on YouTube. We are here to find out what your New Year's resolution is, Virgo. And I'm sure many people are waiting to also find out about what Virgo's New Year resolution is. Do you know why? Because come September, everyone's life always changes. I have this thing until September, you don't really know what you're doing that year, and then suddenly September comes along and all the bells are ringing, all the paperwork is flying everywhere. September, the busiest month of every year, and everything you've done up to then, it's either accounted for or not at all, and then you have to start all over again, and it's kind of like your last chance to hop on the train for the year. And then you have 3 months of those people who are fans of last minute, like the people who always leave things to the last minute and then like rush to the finish line. That September, the month of Virgo, that is your final call. If you're going to leave things to the last minute, listen to what's happening in September. Otherwise, you're really lost. So that's how I always feel about September. Isn't it a funny thing? Because I've never shared that with anyone. And just, when I was thinking about making everyone's resolutions live on YouTube, I was thinking September is really going to be interesting, because I want to find out from the Virgo what their resolution is. That's one person whom I'd really watch for because, of this reason. So, Virgo, we're going to pull out one card from this deck, the Healing Deck, The Path of the Soul by Ross Bonacci. And also we're going to see, from the Art of Tarot deck, what the other cards are saying. Okay? So let's manifest what is Virgo's needing most to work on this year. What is Virgo energy looking to solve this year, looking to work on? How do they want 2020? What do they see in 2020? What do they see 2020 being all about for them? Okay. The Sea, my inner vision, it says. Wow, I want to show you this card. Intense gaze there, the seer. Involve the esoteric, that involve your third eye, opening your intuition, opening yourself up to messages, to receiving, to channeling. The seer is about seeing what's ahead, but also seeing the past. And it's not, limited to just, past, present, and future. The seer is also somewhat of a bringer together of stories. If the seer is someone, like a sage. The seers and the sage and the rishis and the druids and of all these cultures, they always start out as seers. They do a lot of the legwork, if you like, maintaining an almanac, or maybe publishing a moon planting guide, or maybe a calendar or something like that. But they have a bigger picture goal, which is to actually tell a story. So they're actually telling the story of how things came to be, possibly even covering thousands, like millennia, in time. So the seers are very important people. They're not just public keepers of the watch or something like that. While they have a very specific task, they also have this big goal of keeping tabs on what the story is, how it is evolving. So it's a very nuanced kind of a goal you have. Well, congratulations, we have a resolution for Virgo, and engaging and nuanced and delicious as I thought it was going to be. Now, what is helping you going on for you? Cups followed by the Four of Cups. Are you losing a friend? Like one cup minus somewhere, you're losing a friend, or you feel like you've lost a friend, or if someone was close to you who is no longer close, has gone to a... This could also mean like you are walking away from one set of people towards another set of people, and making new friendships which are more stable. You're trying to some people in your life who are either, some people are leaving you behind or you are leaving them behind. You are ready to make a kind of almost a sacrifice, I'm reading. order to manifest this vision of being. It's also saying for your own intuition, you have to have the backup of yourself first rather than other people. Like in that process, you might lose some people. Like when you actually express what you really see in other people or in situation, when you are able to read between the lines, other people may not necessarily like it. It may not be to their benefit, and you may be losing friends because of that. That's also what I'm getting for some of you. And but for some of you, this also means that you are moving on to establishing a very stable kind of relationships, social relationships, support structures around you, like the people you rely on to have your back. Right, that's what this year is about for you, Virgo. You feel like is I've discovered what I might earned, and I have worked upon, and I have toiled, and I have really mastered, and I need people to back me up when I start using my talent, when I start to shine. This is what this year is about for you. Now you know who those 4 people are. In the past you thought it was a lot more, but you've had to really sieve this whole process and come to the conclusion that there are like these 3 people, these maybe 1 or 2 alive, that will have your back when you really start to speak and when you really start to share intuition. Not that anything that your intuition seeing at all. It's just that, you know, in life we're not always going to have this is the action rationale, this is why I'm doing it, and this is the outcome. Sometimes it's linear as that. Sometimes your action is without knowing what the reason is, and you know the outcome, but you can't always explain the reason because it's coming from an intuition, right? A bit of a master in those circumstances when people are not clearly able to understand why a certain thing has to work out in this way, but you're able to go with the flow. But I'm seeing out of this, the outcome is your inner vision, but you have to wait for it to manifest. That's one way to interpret it. The other way is, you're doing a lot of legwork, like I was saying before, to wait for till the end of the year, which is like December. So what you're seeing and expressing and telling people will only manifest, allowing time to pass and forgetting about it. It's like, some people can say, oh, I have a wedding coming up in 20 for it, which means you're really, and it's an old wait for things. People today don't wait anymore. They're just all full of distractions, and the world is manage something called waiting time. It's like do this, do that, fill up something else. That's not what this is about. The hangman is saying you have to wait necessarily as part of kind of mastery. So if you're a seer now, maybe there's a level 2 of seer around the corner for you. But something that's gone up this year, 2020, is about manifesting your goals and dreams, an entirely different dimension for many of you. And there is a bit of a weight in which maybe it's about saying gaining proof for some of the stuff you're doing. It could be scientific. Some of you important in terms of that old world knowledge into the new world, new decade. So yes, lots of things going on for you, Virgo. But remember, whatever you lose, solid and stable for it, so don't doubt yourself. So there you go. And I will see you more often. Ciao, ciao.